I suppose it would be a good idea if Convention USA had a keynote speech from a very famous American celebrity. Unfortunately, we don't have any celebrities on hand. But I do want to start off by thanking all of you folks for participating in Convention USA. You don't know me, you have no reason to believe that I have any great solutions to the nation's problems. But I am impressed by who you folks are. Many of you, when you registered as delegates, have taken the opportunity to leave a little message about who you are and what you believe and why you want to try to do something about our country. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and I attended Catholic schools. Met a beautiful girl at the University of Detroit. We got married when we were both in college. We have 6 children, 19 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. I probably belong to every hated minority in the country. I'm an Irish Catholic Republican lawyer, and nobody likes any of those. But I started when I was in law school to be interested in public affairs and particularly in public office. I ran unsuccessfully for public office 5 times between 1952 and 1961. In 61, I was elected to Common Pleas Court Judge in Detroit. And I served on that court for a couple of years and then was appointed to the Wayne County Circuit Court. Ran for that office and was elected to it. And then in 1966, I was elected to the Michigan Supreme Court. 2 years later, the other justices on the court made me the Chief Justice, so I did that for a couple of years. In 1973, I started a law school called the Thomas Cooley Law School. We started from scratch in rented quarters with no money, no assets of any kind. But in any case, I left the court at the end of 1973 to become the full-time dean of this little storefront law school. Today, the Thomas Cooley Law School is the largest accredited college of law in the United States, with 5 campuses all around from Michigan to Florida. So I had the experience of unexpected success with the law school, for example, unexpected success with my political career after many defeats. And back in 1982, about 30 years ago, I wrote a law review article urging the conducting of a convention under Article 5 of the federal Constitution to propose amendments to our Constitution. Nothing had been done to literally update the federal Constitution since it was ratified in 1789. And I felt there were a great many things that needed to be attended to make our government function more efficiently and more effectively in these modern times. Now, I wasn't interested in writing a new constitution. As a matter of fact, Article 5 of the federal Constitution doesn't provide for writing a new constitution. It provides for proposing amendments to the existing constitution. That's the only thing an Article 5 convention can do. So, in any case, I wrote this law review article, and I gave a speech at Yale University about it some years ago. And then just about 5 or 6 years ago, I got a letter from Harvard Law School in which they were asking me to do an update on my speech at Yale. Well, I hadn't worked on or thought about the Article 5 convention for some time, but that invitation to write an update got my juices flowing again, and I got doing some more research on the Article 5 convention. What I discovered is that there are a lot of people out there on the internet who are interested in amending our Constitution for various reasons. Some want term limits for congressmen. Some people want a balanced budget. Some people want what they call the repeal amendment, which would allow the state legislatures to repeal laws enacted by the Congress. A lot of people are unhappy with the United States Supreme Court. They'd like to do something to make it less partisan. And certainly there's a lot of feeling among the people of this country that our politicians are not responsive to what we want, and that they're taking care of themselves pretty well financially. We don't like the influence of lobbies and the amount of money they have to raise to get reelected, and the way it's done. So there are a lot of concerns that the people have in general, and I notice that many of you are concerned about such things, and that's the reason why you registered as delegates to the convention. Now, Convention USA, as I envision it, is not a mock convention or a model convention or a demonstration convention. It's a real convention. We really are going to have people voting on issues. We really are going to debate issues, and we really are going to try to go forward with the things that we decide and see if we can't get them ratified as amendments to the federal Constitution. Now, there are a lot of people out there that want to see the legislatures seek a convention, but only for one particular purpose. They are more interested in their particular amendment, and they're really afraid of having a convention. They're afraid that the convention will somehow be a runaway convention, that it'll propose amendments to abolish the Bill of Rights or things of that kind. It's not going to happen. No proposal becomes an amendment to the federal Constitution until it's ratified by 3/4 of the states. And you just think about how almost impossible that is. To have 3/4 of the states, big states, small states, actually agree upon the language of a constitutional amendment. And in the history of this country, there have been some 27 amendments, and they were always basically consensus of the American people that caused the amendments to be adopted. So my idea here is simply to proceed as best we can, like a real convention, using Robert's Rules of Order. So we're only going to debate and decide one thing at a time. We're not going to be just a forum where a lot of people can throw their ideas up and shout at one another with no particular resolution to their discussion or their debate ever being made. What is particularly exciting to me about the Convention USA is that you folks who are delegates to this convention have agreed to stand up and be counted. You registered, you gave us your name, your address, your birth date, the county you live in, and your telephone number. And that's all a matter of record within the convention records. And the way you vote on every issue is made a matter of public record. So you stand up and be counted. There's nothing else like it, as far as I know, on the internet. So we're going to go forward here very slowly. I don't expect us to be adopting proposed amendments for a long time. It's important that we get a lot more people involved with us, because the real strength of Convention USA is that we are ordinary citizens. We represent the ordinary folks in this country. I like to think that the delegates to this convention are the kind of people who would be called for jury service and expected to make important decisions, life and death decisions, from the jury box. Well, this is our jury box on the federal government. This is our opportunity to vote up or down proposals to improve the way we govern ourselves in Washington, D.C. Certainly, I think there's agreement, both from the left and the right, about certain systemic things that need to be done. Everybody wants the Supreme Court to get out of politics. Everybody wants the legislature, the Congress, to be more representative of the people. Everybody wants to get minimize the influence of money in politics. So the trick is, how do you do those things? What kind of words can we put into the Constitution that will be effective to bring about the things that we all agree ought to happen? And this is going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. But I thank you for joining with me in this effort. And I think that if we keep our eye on the ball, and if we say a few prayers to the Almighty, that they'll continue to bless our country and the work that we do, that we'll come out all right. Thank you again for listening.